Hi, good morning, everybody. I've been up for a little bit. It doesn't look like it probably, but I have been. And I wanted to make a video about what is your easiest language and what is your hardest language to learn. And, for me, I think my easiest language, well, is probably French because that was my second language. Um, English being my first language, my native mother tongue. And then French after that because I just started picking that up after. Um, but there's several languages I'd probably put in the same category as French as far as difficulty. And then there are more challenging languages, like Chinese and Japanese. I have never found Japanese to be too hard. Chinese, of course, with the tonal languages are always harder. And but my real nemesis, the one, if somebody asked me, what do you think the hardest language is to learn? And I've learned some difficult ones because I'm learning Welsh. Well, I haven't done my Welsh in a while, but I'm learning Welsh, Russian, um, and the Asian languages and Swahili and things like that. So I would say I think the most difficult language that I have run across has been Korean. And for some reason, and people go, oh, that's easy. Not to me. And for some reason, and it's funny because people say there's crossover between Korean and Japanese, but I don't see it. Maybe a little, but not, I don't know. I think it's their pronunciation because, you know, like B and P, it's like a sound that's in between, sort of. And like G and K, those are sort of in between sounds. It's kind of weird. They have some sounds that you can't quite make up your mind what they are because it's just sort of in between what we do, and that's really hard for me. Um, and their grammar. I did get an app. One app that I will recommend if you're learning an Asian language, and they're starting to put a lot more languages on there too. Actually, their Russian is rather good, and that's Lingo Deer. So I really like Lingo Deer, and I wanted to recommend that. And then Memrise. I went back to Memrise. I haven't done Memrise in a long time, and I just have their free account. But they're helpful, and they're particularly helpful with vocabulary and things like that. And I think they're helpful with the writing because they really break it down for you. And so, anyway, I recommend Memrise as well. And then I'm trying to learn Korean on Duolingo, but excuse me, um, Duolingo, their Asian languages aren't as good. It's just that way. And I heard people say that it like starts out easy and then just throws you to the dogs, pretty much. Um, and then one thing I found out that is if you go back and you want to redo the language, like you dropped it and you want to go back to it, they don't start you at square one. They start you where you left. Well, they'll give you a review, but it's not a very good review. And so I feel that they just throw you into the deep end too fast on that. I also think Duolingo, and they do this on Hindi as well, they just give you, probably do it on Russian too, but I already knew the Cyrillic alphabet, so I had a little advantage there. But they give you the alphabet, and that's all you do for like lessons upon lessons upon lessons. And I find it so boring. Oh, Arabic, they did that in Arabic as well, I think. And I find that so boring. Um, I think that they should be teaching you words and grammar and different things in between teaching you the alphabet because it's just boring. And then they kind of lose me. I don't do well with boring. My mind needs some stimulation. But anyway, and right now I'm bored to tears, but I am going to go out later today, probably this afternoon. And I'm doing a little bit better, by the way. I've been really sick, but last night I had a calmer night and I got some sleep. So that was good. As I was not sleeping. I couldn't breathe and I was coughing. My nose was Niagara Falls and I couldn't get any sleep. So last night I actually got some sleep. My neighbors probably did too from all the coughing and the hacking. Oh, Lord have mercy, it's been awful. But I think I am possibly turning a corner, which is good. But anyway, back to Korean. Yeah, I picked it up again and I am trying. And I even knew in Colorado, I knew a Korean guy that was trying to help me a little bit. Oh my gosh, he just laughed at me. But I just couldn't get it. I don't know. I hope there'll be a breakthrough at some point. That's what I need. I had that in Hebrew. When I first started Hebrew, I thought I'll never learn this, and I would learn it to a point and be very frustrated. And I'd drop it. And I'd come back. Well, what I would find in Hebrew every time I came back, it was better. And I went, So then, and of course, my association with the Jewish people for a while and worshiping, reading a siddur in Hebrew did help. And so anyway, eventually, Hebrew started coming a lot better. Um, but um, but it's hard when you have to learn another alphabet. It's not impossible, but it's slow. Because it's just not your own. It's not what you're used to, which is okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. It's perfectly fine with me. It's just slower to learn, is all. And so yeah, one of the things that Duolingo does that kind of drives me nuts is that they will just hit you with so much alphabet. Granted, you need to learn it, but it starts to frustrate you. And so I think that they need to throw different words and different things in there so you feel like you're doing something, I think. Yeah, lately I've felt Duolingo's a little brutal, but maybe that's because I don't feel good too. That could be. So anyway, yeah, I'm using like 3 apps right now for um, for trying to learn Korean, and then I had another suggestion. It's an online suggestion. I think it's howtolearnkorean.com or something like that. I have to look that one up and make sure. But this came off of somebody that wrote about learning Korean on, they wrote an article about it on the one that I write for, Medium. And I read that, and they highly recommended this one site. They said it's 100% free, and they felt like it gave them a better grasp of the language. So I'm going to check that out. I haven't done it yet, but I'll report back later. But yeah, I think my Nemesis language, the one that's been the hardest for me, is Korean.